Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Shall we wait for 5 minutes, sir?
Yes, let's wait for 5 minutes. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Shall we begin the class?
Yes, sir, you can, sir.
Okay, fine. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. And as like the students keep joining in, I think we can start the class. Today we'll study about and learn more about a career in marketing. And I think this is something like a lot of the folks in the industry right now are kind of looking at as a career in the marketing, how to kind of prepare for becoming a marketing expert, or find out avenues in the world of marketing where one can kind of make a career, right? Now, marketing is a huge function. It's encompasses like various aspects of things, and obviously in one single class we cannot cover all the aspects. But I think today what we'll see is we'll see the basics of how to make a career in marketing. And then in the future classes, if required, we can get into much more in depth, like how to make a career in maybe events, or how to make a career in digital, or how to make a career in communications, etc. But marketing as a career is very, very booming in today's world. And I'm sure a lot of you would be wanting to kind of make a career in marketing at some point in time, right? Maybe not all of you. So it's good to kind of know what are the options, how to kind of prepare for it, how to build your CV, how to be present online, how to kind of do a career search, how to kind of look for like the relevant kind of roles, etc. What is the larger world of marketing? I think it will be good to kind of know that, right? So having said that, I will kind of go and play the video where this author, he's actually a marketing consultant, and he's a professor in marketing, and he talks about like the various aspects of like getting a job in marketing, determining like what your career goals are, looking at various internships, like how do you typically get internships within the marketing roles, volunteer on some freelance projects, take some online courses and getting certified, etc. So all these various aspects goes into how do you want to like prepare for a career in marketing. And we do this when we are typically students, and then you start getting more into the industry and getting that experience, right? So I will share my screen. Please let me know if it is visible. And
Yes, sir.
I will also play the video. Just let me know if it is audible or not.
We've all been exposed to marketing.
It is audible?
Yes, sir, it's audible.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much. All right. And this is going to be something like, which you will see that like in all of us in our day-to-day lives, we have been exposed to marketing, right? We receive so many ads, we receive so many messages, we see TV commercials, we see different types of like print and magazine ads, etc. So we have always been in the world of surrounded by marketing, right? So hence a lot of these things will not be very new to you. But what will be important is how do you package this? How do you kind of get to choose what's the right way to kind of approach to get a job in marketing? I think that's the key part of it, right? So let's listen to like this course and hear about like what the author has to say.
We've all been exposed to marketing in one form or another. Whether you've watched Mad Men's portrayal of a 1960s advertising firm, or you've seen a sponsored post in your Instagram feed. But despite being impacted by marketing most of our lives, that doesn't quite make you qualified to get hired as a marketer, which is where this course comes into play. Whether you're just starting your career from scratch or breaking into the industry from a different one, this course is designed to help you land a job in marketing. The demand for qualified marketers is at an all-time high, which makes now as good a time as ever to learn how to best present yourself as a qualified candidate. Hello there, I'm Brian Honigman, and as a marketing consultant, career coach, and adjunct professor, I've sat at both sides of the table as a job candidate and interviewer numerous times over the last 9 years. This course features my approach to getting hired as a marketer, whether you want to focus on social media, email marketing, brand strategy, or any other aspect of the industry. My objective here is to help you identify how to gain relevant marketing experience, stand out from other applicants, and accurately communicate your value as a marketer to employers. If you're ready to do what it takes to become a full-time marketer, then let's get started.
So the key thing to remember here would be, like as I said at the very beginning, we all have been exposed to various marketing and advertising, etc. But we need to know, if we want to build a career in marketing, then how do we package this? What are the various aspects of the fields that like the marketing offers? Typically, where do I even start from? How do I kind of start thinking about it? And as the author says here, and also if even if you do a research or do some kind of a study, etc., you will see that marketing jobs are at all-time high. There's a significant demand in the market to get and hire marketing professionals, right? And that's important. So which means there is a huge demand, and whenever there's a demand, the opportunity is much more. So we should be one step ahead of the demand, and we should be prepared enough to kind of to enter into the world of marketing through the right approaches, right? And that's what we will kind of see, that what are those various options. So we'll start with what are your career's goals in terms of determining, right? So let's look into that.
It feels lonely and confusing to not know what direction to take your career in, but the truth is, most of us figure it out as we go by setting goals and taking action towards them. Determining what your career goals are initially can help set the stage for your continued success as a marketer in the long term. Here's how. The point of setting career goals is that they provide a specific direction for you to commit to as you progress and will help to inform the strategy behind your decision making. With that said, you want to think critically about what interested you in marketing in the first place, as that can help determine some of the goals you're looking to achieve. Have you always been interested in how advertising influences decision making? Are you a heavy social media user? Are you looking to become part of a growing industry with job security? Regardless of your initial interest, it can draw attention to what you'd like to accomplish in your career in the short term, in the next few years, and in the long term later on. For example, if you've always been fascinated by social media, then a short-term goal could be to land a social media-focused role. On the other hand, if you're interested in managing your own budget and team eventually, then a long-term goal could be to rise to a leadership position by age 30. Beyond what motivated your focus initially, take the time to think about what your motivations are personally and professionally, and how a career in marketing can help fulfill your needs. One of my short-term goals early on was to work on a large brand's social media presence, which I eventually achieved by being strategic with the decisions and actions I took. It is certainly okay if your goals are a bit murky and unclear at first, as long as you continue to clarify them as you progress in your career and gain more first-hand experience. Having a sense of what your career goals are will help you choose a direction in the marketing field initially, whether that's working in analytics, programmatic advertising, or as a copywriter. Choosing what types of jobs in marketing to focus on is difficult, as there's many directions to take, but it is essential that you do choose one for the time being and commit to it. I recommend choosing a direction in the industry based on your goals, where there's job availability, where you have experience, and some level of interest. You won't be stuck in this specific area by committing to a certain job, as marketers are often exposed to a variety of different tasks in any role. This exposure makes it way easier to gain experience and move into other areas of the marketing industry and change your direction as you see fit down the line. Do your research and explore what career options are available to understand what different roles are worth learning more about and what types of goals you should consider. With a few goals in mind, you'll feel less confused about a career in marketing and more empowered to start taking action one step at a time.
So while the author talks about the career goals in marketing, how do you determine your career goals? And he is being using the various examples in the field of marketing. But even in general, this is important. Even if you don't want to take up a marketing as a career, you still need to kind of look into what your career options are, what your goals are, and then break it down into a short term, medium term, and probably a longer term, right? While this example is very specific about, the author says you may be interested in a very specific area in marketing, maybe in the social media. Then in the shorter run, what kind of work will you do? The author talks about working in a social media in terms of the brand. Then later, at the age of 30 and 30 plus, you may also want to work across a lot of other things. You have a programmatic digital, you have your search, you have your email marketing. There are multiple ways in which you can think of the marketing, right? You may want to gain exposure and experience across all of these. And then when you're 30 plus, you may actually be wanting to be in a leadership role or a lead role where you will be managing a budget, you'll be managing a project, you'll be managing a set of team and a function, etc. So there are various ways in which you can think of how would you want to grow your career, grow your career and develop your career goals. But it is important to actually break it down into shorter terms and not really think of what am I going to do 20 years down the line. I would rather say what am I going to do 2 years down the line, and then go from 2 to 4 to 4 to 6, and then incrementally grow up. That's important, right? And in order to do that, while you set your goals, it is also important what kind of opportunities or what kind of options you get. Is it internships, or is it working on some freelancing, or is it working on some projects, so that you start getting those hands-on experiences, and that's important. Right? So let's listen to what the author has to say.
Breaking into an industry for the first time can be frustrating, especially because relevant experience is needed to get hired. But if you're just getting started, where is that experience supposed to come from? That's where internships come into play. The most effective way of earning marketing experience is taking on a few internships where you work at a company for free or at a low cost in exchange for training. Understanding the importance of internships and positioning you for future roles and how to get the right ones is essential for a thriving marketing career. An internship is a part-time role where you provide support for an organization for the short term, like a semester or a few months, while getting trained and gaining experience. While I was still in college for my undergraduate degree, I had a copywriting internship at a marketing agency and a marketing-focused internship at a legal startup. Both set the foundation for my career as a marketer by providing me with useful skills, experience, and a network of colleagues to rely on. Internships are so valuable because they expose you to how marketing is actually used in the workplace and provide you with the experience employers want from entry-level hires. You'll also be able to see how a real company operates, discover what you're good at from a marketing capacity, and most of all, slowly learn what interests you. Recognize that one internship isn't enough in today's competitive economy, especially since many universities are now requiring students to complete one as a part of their degree. I recommend taking on multiple internships over the course of your schooling to be more well-rounded and competitive against other candidates. Finding the right internships is important too, as you want to make sure the experience you're spending time on builds towards a career in marketing. You're looking for internships that allow you to learn tangible skills as a marketer, that be open to giving you a reference, and where you're exposed to interesting tools, projects, and people. Discover available internships in your area by consulting your college career center or alumni network, searching career sites like LinkedIn or Glassdoor, or an internship database like internships.com or WayUp. For more options, don't forget to simply Google paid marketing internships in Philadelphia or whatever city you're closest to. Another approach is reaching out to companies that you'd be interested in and asking whether they have a need for a marketing intern and why you're a fit. Even if they don't have any openings, reaching out like this shows an employer that you're a proactive and determined person worth keeping tabs on. Lastly, internships are often difficult to take on for many, as they require working for free or for low pay, which isn't a viable option for everyone. Get around this by only taking on internships for a few hours once a week to gain the necessary experience without sacrificing too much time. Eliminate frustration from your future job hunt by investing in multiple internships now to gain the competitive edge in your marketing career later.
So key point to note, right? So you should look at not only just one internship, but then various multiple ways in which you can do internships. And sometimes you may not get internships easily, but there is no harm in trying, number one. And number two, you can always find some or the other projects as a freelancing or as an internship, that is available, because all the companies at some point in time, be it a small scale or be it a large scale, they will always look to have some sort of interns, right? So you should reach out to your contacts, you should reach out, you should search on online, you should reach out to certain companies, but ensure that as a student, you get interns, and either one internship can be for a longer period, or you have some multiple internships where you gain the knowledge. You can also do internships which is beyond your regular college hours, or studying hours as well. There are a lot of companies which allows you that flexibility to do an internship at the same time, study and continue with your study. So you should take advantage of all of these, and then gain the experience in terms of internship, so that you are ready when you're packaging your CV at the end of your time in college, when you're trying to look for a job, and placements. These internships comes in very handy. So I think that's a very key thing to remember, and there are multiple such options available, and as you saw, the various ways in which you can find for internships, right? Along with internships, the other options which you can try is a freelancing or on a project. So both go hand in hand. Sometimes it is freelancing, sometimes it is internships. Let's see what freelancing and how to go about it.
Experience is often the best teacher when it comes to gaining expertise and credentials as a marketer. Not to mention, getting relevant experience before having a full-time marketing role shows employers you've got the work ethic, willpower, and passion to succeed. One option for earning the right experience is volunteering on the marketing efforts of local nonprofits, or freelancing by taking on small marketing projects as a side gig. Whether you're helping a nonprofit create a social media plan as a volunteer, or you're paid to set up an AdWords campaign by a local business, both help you get real-world experience. Especially at the start of your career, volunteer on marketing projects for nonprofits as a way to help a short-staff organization with a limited budget while adding to your resume at the same time. Volunteering is different than an internship, as it's likely a less formal engagement, doesn't usually earn you school credit, and you're typically doing more charitable work. For instance, I worked remotely as a digital volunteer for the American Red Cross, where I monitored their social media once a month during natural disasters and other emergencies. Through that experience, I learned about their unique communication policies, got to use their enterprise-level marketing tools, and was lucky enough to help people in the process. Identify what nonprofits are active in your area by searching on Google, greatnonprofits.org, or idealist.org to see what organizations catch your attention. Freelancing is a similar option, as you're taking on a small project to assist a local organization, but different because you're getting paid by the business for the support. Local businesses are often open to paying students for their help on one-off marketing projects that they don't have the time or budget to work on themselves. A number of colleagues of mine initially built their portfolio of marketing work by taking on small projects from local businesses at an affordable cost to get experience and testimonials. One friend worked with a few retail businesses while still in college to help optimize their website for local search, which helped her land a role at an SEO agency once she graduated. Many small business owners are aware that a student doesn't have a lot of experience yet and may not be very polished, but they know they are still better off with their help at a low cost. Freelance commitments are typically flexible arrangements, which is why they are best suited as side projects for both students at school and full-time workers looking to switch careers. One of the best ways to find volunteer and freelance opportunities is by networking with like-minded people at your school, attending relevant marketing meetups, and being active on social media. These opportunities won't fall in your lap, as you'll need to be strategic with your time and seek out the experience you're lacking to better position yourself as a marketer.
So very, again, key important thing to keep in mind that this will not be coming to you unless you are making an effort for it, right? So what are the few things you can do? You can network, you can attend the different meets, and you can engage on social media. Constantly keep doing this. And then when you find a freelancing project, take it up. Ensure that you do it well. You spend some enough time on this freelance project, because this is exactly what is going to give you that hands-on experience in marketing. And a lot of these organizations, as you also hear in the author saying, They would love to kind of get some freelancers because they may not be able to kind of hire a full timer. So freelance is a very good option. So it's a win-win situation for the organization and also for you. You just need to pick up a right kind of project and then kind of get your hands dirty with this various marketing work that you would do, right? So that's how it is. Like, so first set up your career goals, think of the internships, think of a freelancing as a project and how to go about it. I think that's very important as well. And then now we will also see, like, while you do all those things, what can help you to even get an internship or get a freelancing kind of a project, right? So for example, taking online courses, getting certifications, how does that help? Because one, online courses, like, definitely gives you the idea of what that topic is all about and what you need to do, etc. And secondly, like, if you are really learning from the online courses, it gives you a certification. This also kind of helps you to for the employers, or where you would be kind of reaching out to know that you are interested in a particular area, you have the kind of skill sets, and then it also kind of adds value to your overall thing, right? So let's see, like, how we talk about like an online work and why should we do it and how to do it and where to do it.
Want your resume to look really impressive when you begin applying for jobs? Then start taking online courses now to get your marketing skills certified. An online course, similar to this one, focused on building a particular set of marketing skills, can help you learn different aspects of a marketer's role at your own pace. Some you have to pay for, and others are offered for free, as many of the course providers want qualified professionals to use their tools and offerings, whether that's Google or HubSpot. Taking an online course shows future employers that you're willing to take the initiative to learn and grow as a professional even before being employed in the industry. You're lucky, as there's numerous courses available worth investing in for marketers, like the Copywriting Mastery course offered by Digital Marketer, the Online Marketing Foundations course here on LinkedIn Learning, or Google Analytics for Beginners from Google. Taking online courses also allows you to get certified for different skill sets. After you've completed a course or taken a test to assess your knowledge, you're able to earn a certificate of completion or get further certified as a marketing professional. For example, here at LinkedIn Learning, you can earn a certificate of completion after finishing a course or take one of the many certification prep courses to better situate you for passing a certification offered by an organization like Adobe, Cisco, or Microsoft. On the other hand, the American Marketing Association provides a digital marketing certification after students complete a few marketing courses and pass their exam. While being certified after completing a course or taking a test isn't a replacement for experience, it's an important outcome as it adds to your credibility as an applicant. Employers value the certifications provided by different institutions in the industry, as it's a tangible method of evaluating a job candidate's proficiency as a marketer. For example, earning a Google AdWords certification demonstrates that Google recognizes you as an expert when it comes to using their suite of advertising tools. Get familiar with the range of quality courses available to inform which classes you'll take based on the skills you're trying to learn, what you're interested in, and the reputation of the course provider. Review the courses provided by organizations like YouTube's Creator Academy, the Google Analytics Academy, Hootsuite, Copyblogger, and WordStream to see a full range of options. Once you've completed a course, highlight the certification on your LinkedIn profile and resume to help you stand out with recruiters and prospective employers. Remember to bring up the courses you've taken in an interview when appropriate, or if your lack of job experience is brought up, by highlighting how you've addressed that gap. There isn't a certain number of courses you need to take. What matters is that you're learning skills relevant to the jobs you'd like to get and that position you as a well-rounded marketer. Taking courses online to improve yourself as a marketer is an ongoing process that will not only make you look impressive early on as you hunt for jobs, but throughout your career.
So very, very key aspect to keep in mind, that what are the online marketing courses that is available, which you will take, what kind of certifications will you take, and the author talks about like the various certifications that are now available online, be it the LinkedIn Learning, or be it the Google certifications, or be it the Facebook Meta certifications, or any other kind of such courses. This certifications and these trainings actually gives you a very good hands-on idea of what you need to do. And secondly, it also helps you to start thinking of what's a possibility, what are the various options available, and it gives you an edge over the others. It definitely gives you a set of a platform, which then you once you get the learning and then you start doing the freelancing or the internship, you are able to practice what you have learned, and that's important, right? So hence these are the various options, and I would strongly encourage all of you to look at this and learn and take those certifications. And a lot of these things are just free, so you can easily do it at some point in time, right? So let's now see what next in terms of sharing your ideas on marketing and why you should do it, where you should do it.
Showing employers what you know is always more effective than telling them what you know. Let's walk through the many ways future marketers can demonstrate their skills by sharing their ideas publicly. Your perspective and ideas matter. The unique outlook you have on the world will heavily impact your approach to marketing. It is what will differentiate you, and that's a good thing you should lead with. Everyone has ideas, but most people don't share them publicly or act on them. You're not going to be like most people, as you're going to kick off an exciting career in marketing by consistently sharing your ideas publicly. This could be through blogging on your website, creating a podcast, producing videos, or regularly using social media to discuss marketing-related topics. When a future employer is able to see what you've created, it is much easier for them to grasp how you think about marketing, what skills you have, and your passion for the profession. A couple of years ago, I was hiring interns, and all of their applications for the role looked pretty much the same. They all went to college and had resumes in Times New Roman font. Except one student who made a reference of the articles she wrote on her blog within her cover letter and really stood out as a candidate with writing skills and a passion for marketing. Being able to read firsthand what she thought about different marketing trends and which companies she thought were leaders, I was able to learn a lot about her as a professional. You can stand out just like she did in your job hunt, especially since there are so many choices available for sharing your ideas, whether you prefer to write, speak, or tweet. Choose whatever format is aligned with your interests and would best express your perspective on marketing. That might mean you create a podcast series where you interview classmates on the impact of marketing in their everyday lives. Or you could craft LinkedIn posts about your opinion on the latest marketing campaigns of leading companies. Or you could even record a how-to series on YouTube where you describe different ways of reaching customers with ads across channels. There's no one way to do this right. It's just important that you're sharing your own ideas in a constructive, professional format. When applying for internships and full-time positions, be sure to reference the content you've developed as a part of your cover letter, portfolio, or overall application. And it's wonderful to bring this experience up in an interview to go through the details of the project and, most importantly, what you've learned from the process. It's time to get your ideas out of your head and into a video, an article, or a series on Instagram and show employers what you can bring to the table as a marketer.
All right. So now we will see, based on your finding the right position is important. Now that you know then what you need to do in terms of taking a certification, looking at what kind of internships and the volunteer projects and why you should do that, etc. Now it's also important, once you have done that, look at, based on your interests, and how to review a mix of career sites. What kind of companies would you want to look at and how to find those companies? And these are real-time ways in which you can actually do so. The next 3 topics that we will see is basically talking about that, right? So let's hear.
There's a distinct difference between being open to a range of entry-level roles and applying haphazardly for any marketing job available. The distinction is that if you're more thoughtful when reviewing available positions, you're more likely to land an entry-level role that you're excited about and will be successful in. Here are some questions to ask when searching for roles. First, does the position include duties that you've enjoyed taking on in the past? This can be something broad, like your interest in programmatic advertising, or very specific, like you've enjoyed researching the marketing campaigns of top companies on Instagram. Secondly, is the company you're considering aligned with your existing preferences and ambitions? That could be everything from the size of the company being considered to the values they publicly communicate. Third, are there opportunities to grow into different areas of a role matched to your interests? Most positions won't be exactly what you're looking for initially, but determining whether they can evolve more closely to your interests over time is helpful as well. Lastly, will you be able to explore new areas of marketing you haven't experienced yet? Your career-related interests and preferences aren't set in stone as you're still figuring out what you enjoy and what you excel at. Find roles with enough flexibility to earn more experience in different areas. It's not a perfect process, but for now, the goal is to break into the marketing industry in a role that at least has some aspect in which you're qualified to take on and that you enjoy. Review what open positions are available and see what options align with your interests to break into the industry without taking on any monotonous roles. Where are you supposed to find jobs worth applying for and align with your interests? By referencing a mix of career sites, industry-specific job boards, and company job listings. To avoid being stuck with a limited list of roles to apply for, find positions from a diverse mix of sources to understand what roles are in demand and the types of companies hiring. Start by getting a broad sense of what marketing roles are available in your area by referencing major career sites that showcase a range of positions like LinkedIn, The Muse, and Glassdoor. Search the term marketing jobs or narrow in more specifically if you have a certain type of role in mind, like SEO jobs, or a specific title in mind, like social media coordinator. These sites typically offer numerous job listings for marketing positions across industries, but also feature listings for open positions in different career paths as well. Back in the day, I found one of my first jobs as a marketer on Craigslist, of all places. While many professionals apply and land interviews for positions found on these sites, there's often a lot more competition per role in terms of the number of applicants applying. Since you face more competition when applying on these sites, it is important to also apply on marketing-specific job boards as well. To narrow in on open opportunities in the marketing industry, review positions posted on job boards that specifically cater to marketers as one of their main focuses, like Mashable, the American Marketing Association, Crunchboard, or We Work Remotely. These sites won't have as many job listings as some of the larger, broader career sites, but one of the main advantages is that there's likely far fewer candidates applying for each role. Bookmark or make a list of these sites that focus heavily on marketing roles, as will be a useful resource throughout your career in the industry. Another useful option is checking the job listings on a specific company's site to see if the organization is hiring in the marketing department, again, because there's less competition. According to the Wall Street Journal, there are 6 times more applicants submitted on job boards and career sites than there are on a company's own site. While there won't always be marketing roles listed, it is best to apply to a position directly on their site for competitive reasons, plus your application is more likely to stay in their system. This way, if new marketing roles are available in the future, there's a higher chance you'll be flagged for consideration if you are a match. Applying directly also shows recruiters that you've got more of an invested interest in working at the organization as you took the extra effort to find the role on their site. Get a full range of worthwhile job options aligned with your interests by reviewing a healthy mix of job listings from different destinations. Many jobs worth applying for are never shared publicly, which is an opportunity for you to be considered for one of these roles with a much smaller pool of applicants. To discover these roles, it is important to find companies you'd like to work at and reach out to them by pitching yourself as a candidate, whether there's an open position listed or not. Taking the initiative like this shows that you're ambitious and genuinely interested in working there beyond simply needing a job. You won't be doing this numerous times, as there's likely only a few companies that you'd be this excited about and interested in working at. Even if there aren't any marketing opportunities open and you're not a fit after pitching a company, you're on the radar of their hiring team for all the right reasons. Start researching what companies are located in the areas you're willing to work in. If you're already aware of a few organizations you like to consider, then start there. You're looking for organizations that have marketers as part of their staff, which you can find out by reviewing their employees' profiles on LinkedIn. Next, consider how your experience and skills would align to improving their existing offerings. Like if you're thinking of pitching a flower delivery company, think about how your expertise in marketing at local events could help them drive customer growth. It is essential to figure out a few ways you'd complement an organization from a marketing capacity, as it won't be spelled out for you in a job listing. Another factor to consider are the growth opportunities at a company and how they might align with your ambitions as a marketer. The size of the company, the way the teams are structured, and its culture are all factors impacting what kind of upward mobility is available. To get a sense of an organization's size, review its LinkedIn company page to see how many employees are listed. For a better grasp of its culture, values, and the scale of its operations, review what's being shared on the company's page and the content published by the company in general. Check out reviews of a company on Glassdoor to read what past employees thought about working there, or the company's profile listed on the career site The Muse. When it comes to crafting your pitch, most of the time it is appropriate to send it to the company's career email address that's listed on their careers page. In that email, introduce yourself, explain that you're reaching out due to your interest in working at the company, the role you had in mind, and why you'd be valuable to them. It is more than appropriate to include a link to your portfolio, LinkedIn profile, specific work you've completed to demonstrate your qualifications, or to attach your resume. Just tread lightly, as you don't want to overwhelm them with too much information. Get ahead of the curve by pitching yourself to companies you like to work at to learn firsthand what job opportunities are available. Many jobs work.
So important things to kind of keep in mind here. So what we just learned is search based on your interest and how to review the mix of various career sites that is available, where to look for what, either you can go to the specific company sites and browse their career sites, or you can look into LinkedIn, or there is an aggregator of such options that is available. Once you find the companies, what is the best way to apply? How do you prepare your email? How do you prepare your pitch? Should always ensure that you have your right LinkedIn profile updated and include that as a part of your email or on your CV. So this is something which is very important. And then once you find those right positions and you are ready to you have sent out and then you have gotten shortlisted, that is where comes in how do you really prepare for an interview, and which is effective, right? So let's listen to how should you actually prepare for an interview, how should the interview be, and what should be the after interview kind of a thing. So let's listen to that.
You've done it. You landed an interview for a marketing role, and it's time to prepare how you present yourself to the employer in person. In addition to bringing your portfolio, multiple copies of your resume, and dressing the part, how well you research and practice for an interview determines how effective you'll be at expressing who you are, what values you're offering, and why you're the right match. Begin by researching more about the role, the team members you're meeting with, and the company as a whole. Beyond reading the job description, look to see what employees in this specific position have listed on their LinkedIn profile, and if this role doesn't exist yet at the organization, review the profiles of staffers in similar roles at a competitor. You want to get as much of a grasp on the responsibilities of the role so you can determine how you'll most effectively communicate in the interview about how you'll execute each task. The full list of people you'll be speaking with in the interview won't always be provided, but it's okay to ask if it isn't made clear. Research all the individuals you'll be interacting with at the interview by looking up their LinkedIn profile to understand what jobs they have and their responsibilities. Check out the recent activities section of their profile to see what they're sharing, liking, and commenting on to get a sense of their opinions on marketing, the company, and the industry. This way, you have a clear understanding of what roles each person has in the organization, as well as additional context to fuel your conversations with them. It's also helpful to research more about the organization you're interviewing at to understand the news they decide to share about their initiatives versus media coverage of the company. Most importantly, research the company's marketing efforts to identify their strengths, weaknesses, and areas where your skills will have the most impact. You want to get very familiar with their marketing activities across channels to find examples for you to reference in terms of what you like, dislike, and want to help them improve. For example, you might review the past emails an organization sent out ahead of your interview by marking up a few of them with notes on suggestions for improvements. This research will help you sell yourself as an informed candidate that's put together and serious about making an impact on the marketing efforts of the business. Next, it's time to practice for the interview to clarify how you'll communicate your experience and answer their questions effectively. Look at your portfolio and experience to date and select the 3 most important marketing projects to highlight in the interview that are the most relevant to this role. Too often do candidates try to explain every aspect of their experience and then run out of time to showcase the most important parts that'll sell them as the right fit for the job. Practice how you'll explain the key highlights of your portfolio in terms of calling out what the project was, who it was for, what you worked on specifically, what was accomplished, and most importantly, what you learned from it.
A very important tip to kind of prepare for the interview. So you should be as specific and to the point. First you should be preparing it in a way where you are talking about the project, what were you doing for, what was your contribution, and what did you learn from it, right? What was accomplished. Instead of saying everything and all together, you should sequence your answers and explain line by line in terms of A, B, C, D, E. So typically, if you follow this kind of a structure, then it helps you to kind of articulate. Then it also helps you to bring in the relevant examples which you should be talking about during the while answering that question, right? So that's how you should be preparing it, rather than completely saying everything all together in one shot.
In addition to getting clear on how to discuss your experience succinctly, practice answers for the types of questions they are most likely to ask. For a marketing position, these are just a few of the many questions they'll likely ask. Which companies are successful with their marketing efforts? What's one of your favorite marketing campaigns to date? What sites do you read to stay informed about marketing? How can we improve our marketing efforts? What do you love about marketing as an industry? What are the components of a successful marketing strategy? Tell me about a marketing campaign or project you were involved with that didn't work. What went wrong? What are your favorite marketing tools and why? By practicing how you communicate in an interview and researching the organization ahead of time, it'll be easier to effectively share who you are as a candidate.
A very, very important preparation from an interview point of view. You need to do a thorough research of the organization. What are they doing right now? And hence prepare for this answer. So a lot of these questions, if you see, are about it started with more general, what do you like about marketing, and why do you want to kind of take this up, etc. But as it moved down, it shows that questions were around how can you make an impact in our marketing. So which means if you haven't done the research, then you will not be able to say how to make that impact for their organization. So hence, you should be going prepared saying, I have reviewed your website, or I have reviewed the kind of campaigns that you do, and this is where I feel that this has worked very well. Perhaps I can come and kind of contribute towards, this is an area of growth. This is an area which can be done differently. That shows that you have taken an interest. You have kind of mapped your skill sets to the relevancy of the business, what is kind of required, and then gone ahead and are kind of suggesting what needs to be done, right? So very, very important to kind of keep these in the mind as you are kind of preparing for the interview. Let's now see how the interview actually goes.
Now that you've prepared and practiced extensively, it's time to face this interview head on and truly present yourself as the qualified candidate that you are. You want the interviewer to see firsthand that you're a confident, polite, and ambitious person that's interested in their company, the open position, and is excited about marketing. Start by following their lead with how they want the interview to go. Answer their questions truthfully in a calm manner, as you want to use the research you did earlier to help you provide informed answers that present the best version of yourself. Your answers should always present you in a positive light, but with that said, never exaggerate or lie about your experience just to tell them what they want to hear. It is important to give them a genuine understanding of who you are, where your gaps are, and what you've accomplished so they can make an informed decision as to whether you're a fit. As you're sharing your experience and the value you bring to the table, don't be afraid to go off script from what you've prepared. You want to be very thoughtful with your answers, as the research and practice is mainly meant to ensure you're clear with your message and that you're not caught off guard. Adapt to the situation as best you can, as most organizations will have you interview with multiple team members in a row or one at a time to get a full sense of you as a candidate. Make consistent eye contact with everyone in the room to better connect with them and add credibility to what you're sharing. When discussing your most important experiences as they relate to the role, don't forget to draw attention to your portfolio for tangible examples of what you're referencing. This is so helpful because lots of people are visual learners, and the work included in your portfolio is proof to back up what you're saying. Don't forget that job interviews are a two-way street, as it's critical that you're really listening to what they're saying as well. You want to understand what the company is all about, what their employees are like, their approach to marketing, and what the job entails as you're interviewing them too. Pay attention to what questions they are asking or not asking, as that's a strong indication of where their priorities are and what they're looking for from whoever fills the position. By actively listening, you'll be able to ask them the right questions about the job, the company, and their experiences to give yourself a clear understanding if you'd like to work there. While you should prepare questions to ask their team ahead of time, you'll likely come across more worth asking as the interview evolves and you adapt on the fly. Follow these guidelines to ensure the interview goes smoothly so that you and the employer walk away more informed as to whether you're a match or not.
So while you prepare for the interview, there is always going to be those scenarios where you have to take some decisions on the fly and see, after listening to the question, after analyzing that question, what is the best answer you can give. So you should always keep a room for this. So no preparation is going to be 100%. There is always going to be that on the spot kind of thing, right? So which is something is very important to keep in mind, because and hence like the recommendation is you should be listening to the interviewer's questions very carefully. Only then you'll be able to articulate the way that you are supposed to articulate, right? So this is some of the kind of tips to kind of keep in mind, right? Okay, so I'll kind of stop here right now and just check if you have any questions in terms of understanding how to make your careers in marketing, what kind of courses we should be taking, or what kind of certifications we should be taking, how should you prepare for the interview, etc. So any questions from the group? Because this is something which you will face quite often when you are actually preparing for the interview. How to kind of present your online profile well, how to kind of prepare for it, what all you should be kind of adding on to your profile. I think these are very important things. So any questions from the group? Okay, if there are no questions and everything is kind of clear, then I'm assuming that you have understood how to typically go about the marketing kind of things, right? And I see a chat message from Suchitra which says no sir, so which is good, which is helpful for everybody to kind of understand. So great, thank you so much. I think then this is good. I think we are good for the day. But what I would always request is for after all these classes, you should be also putting in the effort to trying these things out, because otherwise what would happen is that these classes would only become a kind of a just ideation or kind of an example sharing, but then unless you actually put it into practice, it will not be kind of relevant. So my sincere request will be to kind of start looking into all of these things and then kind of preparing, right? So that's important. So that's the thing. Okay, all right. Then I think Kyonis Karnataka team, I think we are good for the class today.
Yes, sir.
I think thank you so much, and we'll catch up again later. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.